Enjoy the show. Play on my channel.
First off, I should say welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being on Tales of the Hunt.
Absolutely.
An honor to be here.
My good friend here, Mr. Frank Percy, my co-host, we stumbled onto this podcast because we started going out to Comic-Cons, meeting a lot of great independent creators like yourself. I had Injetta Anthony on, who's a filmmaker who's just like yourself, putting your idea out there. And Delco the movie, I absolutely love it. But first thing I have to ask, your name sounds so familiar. I know I have heard it. Do you know a guy named James Saylor?
Not the musician, right?
No. Little nerdy white kid from Parkside. Because I'm from Parkside myself. I swear to God, I remember your name through somebody, and I remember somebody being friends with you, because I looked up Delco the movie, and I see Pierdomenico. Where the fuck do I know that name? Like,
I spent the first years of my life in Parkside. I grew up on East
I read
Avon
that.
Road.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! We're on West Elbon right now, and I used to grew up on West Beechwood.
Oak Beach. Okay. Yeah.
Right at the bottom of the hill, the blue house. It's now brown.
Well, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, James Taylor sounds familiar. Like did he go to? Where did you go to?
He went to Sun Valley, and I saw you're a Sun Valley alum. He was I'm gonna say class of 05, 04. I don't know. 05. He was 05. You're 04. Yeah, because James and I were in the same class. I should know when I graduated. So he was 05. So that's probably where, because he went to he was friends with people in Sun Valley. He went to Sleazy Adam. But
Gotcha. Yeah, name's very familiar. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's two. I'm glad there's at least a familiarity on either side here. I feel like I made a hazy connection to start off this podcast, because there's always that hazy connection in Delco. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon separation. If I could say that properly, it would have came out better. But it's kind of like that with Delco. I love the fact that this was right off of the man behind you in the poster, Kevin Smith. He inspires us all.
Yeah.
And I've just seeing the trailer, I get a feel for Clerks. And yeah, I can see the Superbad, but you're making it your own by highlighting your hometown. Frank's a transplant to Delco. He's still allowed in conversation. He went from New York to Delco. I don't know. There may have been some other places in between there, but the important one is he made it here to Delco. So this is a Delco-based podcast.
In the end, it's where you wind up that counts, right? Well, we'll accept you, Frank.
Yeah, kind of. Where you are is where you are. Just
Yeah. Well,
tomorrow it may change. Hey, next week it may change. But enjoy where you are.
Delco anymore. I live in Maryland now, so I'm I'm a bit of a, but Delco's always in my heart.
You know what? It's okay, because I moved out to Chester County. Well, not like I did by myself. My parents moved out to Chester County. I ended up living out there for a while. My brother bought a house back in Delco, and my podcast partner and business partner, Christopher Bristow, he said to mention, this is why he's my business partner. He said he was the guy at Tom Jones with the Golden Girl sweater.
Yes. Yeah.
You see that? That's the Christopher Bristow effect right there.
Yeah.
A stupid sweater. Yeah. I remember that guy. Yeah.
That was a great sweater.
It is a great sweater. I love him, but he does it on purpose with the ugly sweaters, because it's something nerdy. He has a bunch of nerdy and awesome sweaters like that, and I do love the Golden Girls sweater. And it's only fitting to have, represent the Golden Girls, because who in Delco didn't love the Golden Girls,
Yeah, man, it's generational spanning.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So besides Clerks, I'm going to take Frank's question this week. What are some of the inspirations you took, besides obviously Clerks, going into this movie? Because you said in your not Kickstarter, but Seed and Spark, that this is you coming back to your idea.
Yes. So I made this film. I made a version of this film at Sun Valley in '04 when I was so 20 years ago, and it was kind of it wasn't exactly it's pretty different. I'd say like the things that are mainly the same are the characters and the setting. The plot is completely different because I'm a different person now 20 years later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, what influenced that was Clerks. Like that, seeing Clerks for the first time in like 2003 was what told me like, hey, I can do something like this. Now, which is funny because Kevin Smith had seen Slacker, and he's like, "Oh, I can do something like this." So it's just a big circle.
That
So
generational circle that goes on.
yeah. And aside from Clerks, I'd say my big influences were I mentioned Superbad. I had the idea already, but I there was another movie that was influential on this one called Booksmart. That came out some years back, and I would say also like John Hughes movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off would probably be a big influence. I love the idea of a film kind of taking place in a 24-hour period, and so that was very much pushed me creatively with this film. I really wanted to kind of contribute to that kind of idea, like that time frame. I think it's interesting.
Okay. I mean, it's the 2004 region that you're going here is a very it's interesting and pivotal because it's taken me back to God, what was it? Not what was it? Freshman, sophomore, junior year. There we go. Long day. But it's taking me back to junior year. That 2004 region, it's a very questionable time and you're wondering what you're going to make of your life. So it's almost like taking it, if you want to take it to the Wayback Machine, George Lucas, because that's exactly what he did with American Graffiti. He took a day in the life of this time period. And it's good to draw inspiration, especially from things like Clerks and even John Hughes movies were huge back in the day. When I was in high school, my English teacher was convinced I looked like Ferris Bueller. And I was like, I'll take it. It's not like,
Yeah, he's a good looking guy, so yeah, why not?
What is his name? Matthew, he's a Matt.
Roderick.
There you go.
Roderick, yeah.
I remember the Matt part. All right.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Should be.
Yeah.
Should be. It should be.
The Matt man will remember the Matt at least.
There
Not
you
your
go.
last name, but if you're a Matt.
Yeah.
Right in here, bud. Right in here. So I do love the fact that it's evangelical Christianity through your perspective and going out on a one crazy night, because Delco or not, you can relate to that if you've been that guy, because I was a very introverted person. So that one crazy night going out, oh my God, I'm going to talk about this for the rest of my life kind of a moment is something it's pivotal to any person, especially somebody who may be the next aspiring movie actor or movie producer, movie director, movie writer, because you don't know who you're going to influence is one of my big, things that I do say on this podcast. So who has, and I mean, you've been on all over, you've been all over the news, Delco, the movie, it's a success. Red carpet, fucking #1 in the box office. Everyone's like, how the fuck did this happen? We don't know. You thanked me in an awards speech because I made it happen. I pulled the strings with the Illuminati, we'll say, for this thought experiment. What's your next movie?
I want to make another movie in Delco if this does well. It's well received, and I still have a will to do this after this whole process. I already have in mind next film, and what I want to do. And hey, maybe I'm going off of Kevin Smith and the MCU a little bit. I want to make a Delco verse, right? So I want to do
that's awesome.
that in Delaware County. And this one is going to be focused on gamers, video gamers.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. And we're going to see, because there's a little bit of that in Delco the movie. Like, we actually do have a scene that takes place in a video game store. So we're going to see some of those characters again.
I saw something that took me back a very long time. And because I'm on your seed and spark, Aladdin's Castle. Holy
Yeah.
crap, did you make me time travel when I just saw Aladdin's Castle, dude. Wow, man. I got so nostalgic in that one moment because you loved to go to the mall because of Aladdin's Castle. The 90s was the perfect time to grow up because you had the arcades. You knew where your spots were. As soon as the advent of the internet came along and Xbox Live really got their talons in people, that kind of went away real quick. But there was a golden era that we were in to where you could go meet your friends at the arcade, just have a pocket full of quarters and have a great time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's it's so fascinating to me how nowadays we have so much available at our fingertips. Like, I'm a Switch guy. I have like probably hundreds of games on my Switch that I can play at any time. But I think because we have it all the time, I don't think we appreciate it as much. Like, when you get to pay 50 cents for a game, I think you appreciate it more,
At least over the free, but I have like over 500 games on my Steam account. Okay, I don't get to play games because I run a production company. Apparently, that takes a lot of time. Who knew?
Yeah.
You do a little podcast, and then all of a sudden you're like, "What time is it? Oh my god, I gotta get to bed. I gotta get some sleep in." I mean, there's a little bit of that with the indie market of putting in that time into your passion because nobody else is going to do it. If you want to hire somebody, it's going to be so more expensive. And with me myself, I got into editing because of the creative side and being able to tell a story how I wanted to. And it's a lot like being, a filmmaker. You're telling your story, and a lot of people are really accepting of it because it's an original idea. You're highlighting Delco. I mean, like you said, Tina Fey, Mayor of Easttown. I tried. I got through an episode and I'm like, I feel like you're name dropping. Like, I met Mick Jagger yesterday. Like, God, I felt cringy when I watched Mayor of Easttown. Like somebody visited Delco a lot and they thought they could nail it with their own kind of thing. It didn't really land with me. Where even just watching the stuff that you put out here, I'm already so excited that Delco can get some proper representation out there.
Yeah, that's the hope. I mean, it is my story, but I want it to be our story, as in us Delconians, and even if this didn't happen to you, I want everyone to see a piece of themselves in the film. It's really important to me that it's authentic.
I want you to be the Delco John Hughes. I really do. I'm so excited.
Take that.
If you need a role of a podcaster, look no further, bud. I will gladly lend my services anytime you need. I mean, Jesus Christ, just to even get help in the most minute way that a podcaster could. Your massive movie. I mean, outside of Yuki Washington talking about your movie. Hi, I'm Matt, man. You want to go see this guy's movie? It's really good. I think it's going to be great. I mean, all my praise means nothing next to Yuki. But, it's still very Delco because he was talking to Delconians our whole lives. It's a word, okay? Delconians is a word.
Yeah.
Perjangers wasn't a word up until about like 5-6 years ago, but we made that a word too. We're all about making words around here. Big brother in the background.
Yeah, I've been saying Delconians for a long time, so I'm glad it's not just me.
Oh, it's a great word. It's a great word. Oh. I'm just going to start using it in my normal lexicon. I think everybody else should too. It's that's how. I mean, I'm gonna say that Frank's probably so goddamn tired of this definition by now, but Purjangers is a person or group who love or infatuated with nerd and geek culture. And the best part about that is you could be a nerd or a geek about anything. You could be a film nerd. You could be a comic nerd. You could be, an anime nerd. You could be a science nerd or even a history nerd. There's a whole bunch of things to nerd and geek out about. So at the end of the day, what is a Perjanger? Is 42. Whatever you want it to be. Just be passionate about something.
Love that.
And you're a Perjanger. And you're definitely the ultimate definition of a Perjanger. We both had the same kind of inspiration. I really started podcasting because my old business partner, John, said, look, you need to listen to Kevin Smith's book, Life Advice from a Fat Lazy Slob. And I did. And I was his whole why and why not people. It was like a light switch clicking in my head. So getting that inspiration, especially from Clerks, because you couldn't make that movie at a major like Miramax. You couldn't make that movie now, with how the climate is. In indie, yeah, you can do whatever you want, and people are gonna love it because you're tapping into the stuff that they can't touch. So that's what I've said a lot in these podcasts is that you can find a lot more of an interesting and an original idea in the indie market than you can in the mainstream right now. And that's why ideas like yours it's very important that the people at Delco rally behind you and make this a legendary upbringing of the Delcoverse. To have our own universe? Guys, me and Frank have been trying this for a little while now. It's hard to make a universe, okay? This guy wants to make a Delcoverse. How do we not help him make this happen? Everyone needs to help him.
Absolutely frightening.
And you know what? I've been trying to do this for 20 years, so it just goes to show you, like, it's never too late. I started writing the current version of the script for this in 2021. I spent a summer. I'm a teacher, so I have some time in the summer, and I was like, all right, I'm going to write at least 5-10 pages every night, and I just did that constantly. And by the end, I had a really shitty draft, but I had a draft.
You had a draft, right? Exactly.
I had a draft. And I knew that the 20-year anniversary was coming up, and the last 20 years, I've done a lot of short films, I've done podcasts, I've done a lot of content creation, but this has kind of always been that one thing I've always wanted to go back to. I'm like, well, if not now, when?
Mm-hmm.
So it is never too late to do what you always wanted to do.
Yeah.
It's a good message because, Frank and I have said it many times, even to some of the people we've had on. As soon as we hear, oh, well, I'm this age, Stan Lee didn't do the Fantastic Four until he was in his 30s. George
Jack Kirby in his 44, 45 years old. So
George R. Martin in his 40s. You're never too old to do something you're really passionate about. If you're coming from the right place, I feel like, because, through meeting all the creative people that I have, it's one of the things that it's so easy to say. It's easy to say that you have it, but it's easy to see when it's there, but it's passion. To have a passion about what you're doing the audience can see it, and it's very telling. And when you have something original like Delco, everybody knows it, that's around it, and now to make it your own kind of John Hughes universe of where you're showing these slices of life, dude, you need to do a horror film. Oh my God, will that be easy in Delco? The cars alone are scary. I mean, and downright some of them dangerous. I saw a dude in a van, all right? There were at least 3 people in this van. The back hatch was open. They had the drywall on, and how are they securing it? With another person sitting on the drywall in the van, holding on to the seat.
Yeah, that's the most Delco thing I've ever heard.
I also saw many people drive around the muffler like it was an orange cone.
I don't even know what that is, but hey, it sounds funny.
I mean, it's the most original, but when you get the love from Delco, ooh, do you really get the love from Delco?
Yeah.
It's a very love-hate place. You're either in or you're
It
not.
is.
It's the
It is, but it's our,
northeastern quality.
we hate it, but it's our place, right?
Yeah.
It's our home,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
It's a comfortable, warm blanket, unfortunately.
My
It
favorite,
is.
my favorite quote is the Green Day song. Pay attention to these cracked streets and these broken homes. Some call them slums, some call it nice. I want to take you to a wasteland. I call my home. I wanted to cut it off before then, but welcome to paradise. Yeah. But not all parts are a wasteland. Aston, where you're from, is actually very lovely. Podcast partner Christopher Bristow lives in Aston now. The hilly valley that it is.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents still live out there, so I spend many holidays back in Aston, and yeah, it really hasn't changed too much, at least from what I've seen.
No, that's Delco. It doesn't really change much. Maybe the storefront will change. The store will change. Like they just ripped apart the Pep Boys in Brookhaven in Parkside.
Did they really?
Brookhaven?
Oh,
That they're taking. There's still the garage, but there's no parts anymore for Pep Boys. They're making it a Ross. We're getting a Ross. That's big news. Big Delco news. We're getting a Ross. That's how excited old people get for stores now. Like we got a Popeyes, right where the Commerce was. There's a Popeyes there. We got Papa John's and a Chili's. We're popping over.
I remember when there was a what was it? What was it called? Ponderosa. That was my.
Oh my God! Right there on Edgemont, there was the Ponderosa. My aunt used to work there. Shit, man, that was some good food. It's a Walgreens now. Yeah. They always get robbed.
No, yeah. Well, they're open 24 hours a day, so
you can't do that here.
Yeah.
When I moved out in Chester County, I was surprised. Like everywhere was like 24 hours that could be, and then there was like this one CVS in Jennersville. They're like, no, 9:00. Everybody else is like, 24 hours. That one CVS just because of the pharmacist, I guess they're like, no, wait. But out in Delco, I came back and I'm like, hang on, the Giant's not 24 hours? Like, do you want the groceries to be there? No, it's closed. I guess that makes sense.
Man, it's retail for you.
Between counties, Chester and Delaware County, the vast amount of difference between the two. Oh, you gotta have like some Chesco transplants, like sticking out like Norwegian people. I totally drank like 13 liters of cola. Make them really stick out.
Shots. We take a couple shots at our neighboring counties.
Just
yes. I work in Chester County. I've lived in Chester County, and the biggest difference I find is that nobody locks their doors.
Oh yeah, no.
Chester County,
especially cars.
Yeah. And I'm always I lock everything and I check it.
Oh yeah. That's the Delco in you. You're like, lock that. Did you lock it? I'm gonna go check. You didn't lock it. I didn't hear the click. You didn't lock it all the way. See, you didn't lock it all the way. There's that. You got to have that fear of God or somebody else. Maybe Bob. I don't know, but put the fear of Bob in people. There's that real fear.
Yeah.
But it's like Chester County's almost like Canada. What are you people doing?
It is, especially the rural parts.
Yeah, my parents moving out to Oxford and Lincoln University, so it's just like you go out there and then you get out to the real crazy people like Lancaster County, and you're like, what are you guys doing?
I actually teach at Oxford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alma mater.
Well, you went to Sun Valley, right? Or
I went to Oxford. Yeah, I went to Oxford. I graduated in 05. Well, technically, Oxford Area High School.
Okay.
But diploma, correct. I have one. Mom has it. Yeah, I got one. I didn't walk, but I got one.
Oh, did you know Mr. Vincent, tech ed teacher,
Oh, I know that name.
video teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that name because I was all in the graphic arts department. I was out in Oxford, the old high school. I was out by where the metal shop used to be and all that. I was in photography and graphic arts and all that. I was gonna
Okay,
go to
that's
Temple and
my
stuff.
department. That's my
Oh
department.
shit! My,
I
she's probably not
I
there. Miss
succeeded.
Moran.
This is Miranda. No, she retired, but
Oh, I
she
was
is
about to
subbing.
say. Oh, of course she is. I
Yeah.
love her. You tell her Matt
Oh, that's
Bucarell said
cool.
hi. Oh my god, I love Miss Moran. She
I
is one of
will.
my
Yeah.
she is one of my favorite teachers. There was Miss Moran, Miss Basha, and David Brumbach. They were all my favorite teachers out of Oxford High School. I'm still friends with Miss Basha and Mr. Brumbach on Facebook. I talk to both of them about how influential they are. But Miss Moran, she was the person who pushed my creative writing and my creative bug in that graphics arts department. And I can very proudly say I wrote this backstory for Frank's comic of Caribe the Hunted called Chronicles of the Hunted. And she was one of the people who pushed that creative side of me and always pushed me in her class. I was one of those people that I got to be like in Graphic Arts 3, where she would just kind of
Yeah.
give me projects or do something in the class that
Really?
she was. Oh, yeah, man. I was really into that and art all in my senior year and everything in high school. And it was all because of like teachers like Miss Moran who were there in the, I can't remember the art teacher's name, but she was really cool too. But there were a whole bunch of really, really great teachers in Oxford
Yeah.
that really pushed me to where I'm glad my parents, got me out of Delco and I could get that experience of these amazingly influential teachers because that's one of the things that I realized in my adult life is you look back and you say, "Oh, I didn't get any guidance. They didn't get any guidance." And then you look at the teachers who are like, "You're really good at this, kid. Why don't you do this and try this?" And it dawns in on you like, "No, they tried. I just didn't listen. I didn't listen. I was,
Mm.
I didn't go that route." But coming back into it in the back end, it's awesome that you are teaching. Just like one of the guests we had on, Jabbar Brown, he's very influential in the kids, artistic futures. And he just posted on Facebook today how they were so excited being able to, learn how to draw comic book art wise. And it's one of those things to being able to influence the next generation of nerds is something very powerful that I think a lot of people, it's your job. I'm a parts guy
Yeah.
in a body shop. I don't think about how all the little subtleties that I do in my excuse me, in my day affect those people who just had the worst moment of their life happen to them and getting them back to normal. There's that kind of jadedness that you have in your normal day to day. But, for Delco, for improving the lives of Chesco, I'll say, here teachers are heroes too, and they're the unsung ones. And thank you for influencing
Absolutely. Absolutely.
young minds, sir. It's very, very
Oh,
influential. And it's not lost on people like me because I had those great teachers and they pushed me to be the nerd that I am today. And you're certainly a role model nerd to show them, hey, kids, you can do this. If I had a nerdy teacher like you, maybe I would have gotten into broadcasting sooner. I was doing Chuck and Charlie with WMMR in 8th grade.
really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was my brother. We were Chuck and Charlie Stoney on MMR, and we were on the 420 music marathons on every Friday, and we would go into the studio, hang out with Raz and all that, and we went to concerts. We did a thing with Tasty Cake when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, and they had the green filling. Tasty Cake went to MMR and said we want the Stoney boys to go around and look for the green filling, but they keep getting the wrong product. They'll get like hot dogs or like Suzy Q's or something like that. A banana. Things that shouldn't be green in the center. So there was that kind of thing. Maybe a nerdy teacher like you would have been like, hey, man, why don't you try filmmaking? This is the blessing that we have now is that there is this technology of YouTube and the internet to help us get ideas out there. And especially like you were talking about your whole life being a filmmaker. And I'm like, dude, you are like the Kevin Smith of this generation. Just right in there. You were inspired by it. You're watching. I see Emmett Brown in the background, obviously getting ready for the
Yeah.
Great Media Comic Con because
Yes. We have an actor from Back to the Future in our movie too, J.J. Cohen.
oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Uh,
awesome, man.
yeah.
It's
So it's
the
very
talent and Leah Savoli is going to be on next week. We're having her on.
cool. Oh, great. Right. Oh,
Yeah.
she's wonderful. I would not be making Delco the movie without her. She really was just a mastermind behind the Seed and Spark campaign, and I've known Leah a long time. We went to Sun Valley at different times, but she's just a great person. So I'm really lucky to have her.
I only got
Yeah.
to talk to her a little bit at the Great Media Comic Con last year, but she was so nice. Chris and myself and everybody, we tried to find her keys at the end of the night. It was like a real fucked up Easter egg hunt, but we got it done. I can't wait to have her on. And I was so excited to see that she was, part of Delco the movie. Because I knew she was in Delco from the Great Media Comic Con, and seeing that link up, it's like, oh, I see the connect the dots. Like, oh, this is
Yeah.
great. I'm so super excited for your movie, man. And I think that
Mhm.
it's going to be great for Delco if you get this John Hughes. Now, go in video games for the second one. I still think you can work in a horror aspect there. Keep them on the seat of their pants. Really show like I think horror is really easy. And especially with video games, you can tie that in.
Sure.
Especially if you're looking around 2004, Dead Space wouldn't be too far away.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I almost feel like a Delco horror movie should be its own movie. We just go to Satansville or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? Almost take it like a Blair Witch, where people actually make people believe there's some kind of fucked up haunted shit in Delco. That would be awesome.
I will definitely tell all those teachers you mentioned that you said hello. I talked to all of them. Miss Basha was actually my roommate for a couple years. I lived in her house.
I love Miss B. She's so great. Oh, she was my
Awesome.
modern civics and economics teacher, as well as my psychology teacher. Love Miss
Well,
Basha.
still doing that.
She's so great.
Yeah, she's the best. She's a really good friend. And what's really been cool about this experience, and thank you for all that you said about teachers. It's really appreciated, and it makes makes my job worth doing. I got to bring on so many former students to help on crew for this movie for Delco,
Oh, wow.
which was so incredibly surreal and satisfying to the point that we filmed for 6 days in November and December. We're going to film again in March. When we were finished and I went back to work, I felt I had a new sense of purpose. Like I'm like, oh, like I really got to see the fruits of the labor.
Yeah.
Just really cool. So yeah, I had nothing but gratitude just that I get to teach film full time, and I get to do projects like this and really, have a lot of crossover. I think more so than most people would have with their day jobs, us creative
Yeah.
people.
I mean, it's great though, because being able to, have your own dream and goal, but also inspiring others. That's kind of the perfect, balance of life and, well, I'll just say happiness, because to help others, I think if you're in that right place is one of the best things that you can do. It makes you feel
Absolutely.
so good.
Mhm.
One of the reasons why I got into the automotive business, I wanted to help people. So being able to teach and help people and guide them is so crucial. That's why, I saw rather great teaching. I still see great teachers coming out and doing a great work. And it's not lost on me because that's exactly how I got here, man. I got here because great people did not just accept my shitty late homework, and they expected more from me. And I
Yeah.
couldn't let down Miss Basha. I can't let down Mr. B.
Yeah.
Miss Moran, she was
It's
just
so cool to
awesome.
hear
It
that.
was like fun every time I got to walk into her classroom. Like, what am I gonna create? It was so great. She was really
They're
awesome, man. I'm glad to hear
they're
she's still subbing.
this is gonna make their day when I tell them this. It's just this is why we do it. So that's really really awesome.
Best part is I can tag them all when I release
Yeah.
it. But that's great, man. I can't believe that. I didn't look that far into you. But Oxford, man, that was so crucial. That ties the Matman all together. You get to see the whole Matman picture, the Delco and the Chesco. The transplant that
Yeah.
reverted. And he said, whew, it's so much nicer over here in the burbs.
There's a lot of us. There's a lot of Delco transplants in Chester County and
It's
the neighboring areas.
It's the one thing I'll tell you that really bothered me out in Chester County is how long it takes to get anywhere.
Yeah.
15 minutes to go to Wawa, tops, any direction.
Mhm.
There was a Sunoco because I lived in Lincoln, right down the road, but I was lucky. I was fortunate like that. Everybody else, they had to go to Wawa and all that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Even just to go to like a Giant, you're looking at 10 minutes. Delco, it's right there. If I felt like I needed exercise, I could walk. Try walking anywhere in Chester County if you don't live in the town. It's
Gotta
impossible.
catch a horse and buggy, man. That's how you get around.
And
Ooh.
I co-bought a house in Oxford, by the way. They're expensive. Just got to throw that out there. Even a small rancher, very expensive. So,
Yeah, I know. I was looking at one point.
whew,
So
Delco is so much better. Whew. Oh God, it's like
yeah,
a warm
yeah.
hug.
You had it good, man.
Oh,
You
oh
had it
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, my brother, he really got it good. So we got the Berjanger Cave here, based out of Delco, and even though you're a transplant and you left Delco, you're still talking about it. It's how amazing this place is. You should probably stop talking about it so much. Then more people will move here, and then we start getting transplants, and you know. But no,
Right.
it's an amazing place, and there's a feel that you get from like a big city in this county. And if you go outside, it's like, oh, where are you from? Delco. Oh, you live in Delaware? No, it's next to
Yeah,
it.
close.
It's in the valley of Delaware. There's a valley, if you didn't know. But I like it, and I like that there's a prospect for more movies in the future. I like all the different kind of perks and stuff that you had on your Seed and Spark here. Ranging from being in the movie, getting credits, and even IMDb credits, which is huge. It made my day when I got an IMDb credit. I was unemployed like a year and a half ago, and Chris got in on A&E show that was filming in Philly in a prison. So he called me because they were missing extras, and he knew I was unemployed. He's like, "Hey, you want to make $100?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Come to prison." Weirdest statement ever, but spent the day in prison, got $100, got an IMDb credit for just walking down a hall. But one of the things in that day of acting, I felt so horrible because like one of the retakes was because like my ankle twisted and I like looked at the camera.
Shit.
Yeah, and then I got I got like that passive aggressive. Okay, guys, so just make sure to look past the camera. Don't look at the camera, and I'm like,
We've all done it, man. It's happened to all of us. Even on my own movies sometimes. But that's cool. Hey, $100 to be in prison. That's more than most people could say that they've been in prison.
you know what I
So,
mean? I mean, it's a
yeah.
win. I feel it's a Delco
Yeah.
win.
Yeah. I'm glad that you like the perks. We actually have reopened some of the perks if people are interested because we need to, as you know, filmmaking is expensive. And so we need to raise a little more money to film our last 3 days, the end of March. So if you go to delcothemovie.com, we still have we haven't reopened everything, but we still have some spots open for things if people are interested, want to help us get to that final place. We're going to film the scene with Brian O'Halloran on March 26th, which is very exciting. We're flying in J.J. Cohen. We're flying in Ryan Dunkelman, the first host of American Idol. He plays a pretty big role in this movie.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's just
Why not, man?
anybody.
Go for broke. Fuck it. That's a good swing. That's a good swing. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, DelcoTheMovie.com. Check it out. And that would really help us a lot. We're looking, especially for business sponsors. We want to include more businesses in the movie, and we think it'd be mutually beneficial. If you have a business in Delco, like to be in Delco the movie, why not?
Oh, absolutely. And that's one thing that is very important, especially about filmmaking, is the sponsorships. And I think a lot of places should be more like Tom Jones. And they should be out there and to be in the movie. Tom Jones, like if I want anybody to know where I live, that's the location. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you know Tom Jones? Oh, Tom Jones. Yeah, I live by there. Oh, okay. The next would be Phil and Jim's.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to be doing Phil's and Jim's is going to be doing our catering for one day. And I went there so often with my grandparents, and then Tom Jones, I was
They're great
really
people over there too. I've talked to them a couple times about some different kind of stuff I tried to do with them, but they're always when I walk in there, they remember me. Oh, I know you. You're the podcaster. Like, oh, that's me. They're great guys over there at Phil and Jim's. I'm so happy that they're helping out.
Yeah, no, they're wonderful. So when we're going to be doing a couple shots there at some point, and then the Tom Jones stuff, they were actually the first location to say yes, and I was really I didn't really know if they would say yes. Like it was one of those things where it's a big scene. I wanted it to be representative of Tom Jones, but I didn't know if I could actually get Tom Jones. So when they said yes, that really you know um gave me confidence to keep reaching out to others, to be a part of the film.
That's great, man. I mean, and it's what helps build the movie. Is you're building people up, and that's one of the things that I love, and that's one of the mantras and mottos that we have here at Projangers and Wall Hangers is to build people up. It's why we, Chris and I, started this platform. 5 going on 6 years ago, is for this to be the soapbox for Delco's creatives to stand up on and have a place to say, look, this is my idea, and I think it's rather good. I think you guys will enjoy it. And you know what? If it does well, I want to do more here is one of the best statements that I think anybody from Delco could hear. Because it's not like it's traditionally in film, there's only been a couple things that have been here. Film has started to open up, I'd say more recently rather than like back in the day in like 90s and early 2000s, to where we were just excited, like, oh my God, M. Night Shyamalan's filming some of Avatar, The Last Airbender here. This is great. We got excited about anything back then.
It's a thought that counts.
A little bit, but to have an indie creator, because like I'd mentioned, Injetta Anthony, the guy he took his film to the film festivals, and he's won, and it's big for him and his local area, just like it will be for you. I think that this film will really show people how, not how Delco is. You don't want to show them that, but it'll show them a more attractive side of Delco, and maybe even a more interesting side to the story, because a Delcoite showing the world in Kevin Smith, John Hughes fashion, punch the ticket, but I'm in for the season pass,
I love to hear that, man. You're our audience. That's awesome to hear.
I'm right in the demographic. You got me sold. I'm buying the ticket, and I love to have you back on anytime, dude. Anytime you want to be on, just shoot me the line. Let me know. And it's been an absolute pleasure to even, 1, discover the movie, 2, to find out how many you're working in Oxford. The teachers who influenced me, which is crazy. And all the awesome stuff that you're adding into the movie. Leah Savoli, all the great people that you're going to have on in the future, like Brian O'Halloran, and involving the people. And if they want to be involved, they want to go over to DelcoTheMovie.com and give him all your monies. It will be for the best. You're not going to use it for anything good. Let's look. I know. I've seen your bank accounts, all right? Put that down. Spend it on him. Okay? And that's what you got to do, Walljackers, because it's one thing that we love to do is to build people up. The one thing I want to do is help push up that guy who's almost above the wall, and we push him over into the Hollywood town, because then he may unlock the door on the other side so all us other productive gremlins can rush through and show them how amazing Delco is.
Yeah.
Also,
Well,
guys, so
before I let you go,
Yeah.
what do you think is a thing that you could give to new filmmakers, or somebody who's maybe thinking of like maybe hanging it up if just one more try? What would be a thing to help them with production, finding funds, and finding people that was a bit of an issue for you that maybe you've somewhat unlocked?
So I really think the key to successful filmmaking, I think especially indie filmmaking, it all comes down to the writing and having uh doing more than one draft of your script. I've met so many folks over the years that, very well meaning creative folks that will just do a draft or two, and I'm on draft 7 currently of Delco the movie. I'm still editing. I have most of the movie filmed and I'm still changing stuff.
You
you know
don't know how much that means to me. This man has told me to stop touching his script so many times. I can't help myself. I'm not
Yeah.
alone.
He's
I'm
gonna
not
have
alone.
a furry pen. Let's just leave it at that.
He does, but
Yeah.
he told me
Right.
to leave it alone, leave it alone, and I'm glad to know there's somebody else out there like me. Like, oh, good, you can't leave it alone either.
Yeah.
Whew.
I can't, and I've learned because I like the first version of my movie was a first draft, and it's cringe. Like people are like, oh, can I see it? I'm not going to show it to anybody.
Mhm.
Oh, I got my
But
first draft too. That's to show me what not to do.
yeah, and I get it because it's exciting. Like when you finish something, like you want to go out, you want to make it. I totally understand that. I've been there, but I just think that in the long run, you are going to have a better product, and I think a much more satisfied audience if you take that time on that writing. And then I think the other stuff will come. I think production has gotten so much easier as the years have gone on. There was a point I didn't choose to do this, but I was like, maybe I could shoot all this on iPhones. Like that was a thought. I had. I didn't choose to do it, but
They
it
got good
doesn't mean I
quality
wouldn't.
video.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, I think the production stuff will work out. I think pre-production is so essential. Yeah, I started pre-production on this in December of 22, and we didn't start filming until November of last year of 23. And so and yeah, we still had issues come up. You're always going to have issues come up, but they were so much more minimal than they would have been if I had rushed to film it.
It taking the time to do your homework and make
Mhm.
sure that it's the best product. It it will show in the end because it's quality over quantity. It's what Marvel is trying to learn now. And so many other people. Oh, put it out, put it out, put it out. Oh, wait, they didn't like it. Well, no, you didn't put your heart behind it. And it shows when you don't have that.
Mhm.
And I think it also shows that you do. And it's one of those things that I think people will absolutely love when they get to see the finished product, and they will want you to be the next John Hughes.
It's my honor to take that mantle. I'm not going to take it, but if it is given to me, I will accept it.
Okay, that's good.
You need a J. Jonah Jameson? I am always here. Just like I offered to Delco Spider-Man. I will be your JJ. Well, kind of like the anti-JJ, because he was always shitting on Spider-Man. Anyway, I'll be your podcaster whenever you need. That's the easier way to say it.
I could see it though, man. I can see it.
Oh, that's what Spidey said too. Spidey said that too.
Yeah, yeah, I can
I
sense
got my
it, man.
cosplay for April. All right. J. Jonah Jameson coming.
Hey.
It's going to be the
Oh, that's
easiest
awesome.
to do
So I'm
ever,
going to see.
too.
I'm going to see you guys at Great Media Comic Con then, right?
Absolutely, brother. We are both going to be there. I'm going to be at Frank's table. Whenever he wanders off, that's when people walk up and they think I'm Frank Percy. It's happened at least 2 cons now. It's not going to stop. People walk up, they go, "Oh my God, I love your artwork.
Just bask in it, okay? It's all you can do. Just thank you so much. That's all I got. That's all I
So many people think Frank Percy is like a 5'5" white guy. And
It's nice
that's,
to have a little mystery to your character.
Oh, well.
yeah, that's your moment of zen for this week, Walljangers. Is that little factoid. Chris, thank you so much for being on the podcast. This is Tales of the Hunted. I am your host, Matthew Bucarell, the Mat Man, and our co-host, Frank Percy. Chris will be showing you Delco, the movie, coming soon, gang. And do you have a release date yet?
We are planning for the end of 2024. I really want to put hype up that 20-year anniversary thing.
Absolutely.
That's the hope.
Fingers crossed. I hope you make it, because 2024 is definitely your year, brother. I think this is going to be the biggest thing to hit Delco since Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I hope
if
so.
you content here, hey everybody, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, help us all out. There's some great stuff going on. Get a chance to talk with Chris and everything like that. And hey, we will see you again.
Until the next hunt, gang. Game on.
Fun.
Filming or picture?
It's a picture.
I've done 121 hours.
Oh, I love the hair. You're so teachery.
She came up with that herself.
You did it yourself? Oh, was that?
I didn't do it myself. It was, I had the idea to put the pencil, and Eva thought that, and Eva happened to have a pencil with her to do this.
That's perfect.
Dr. Gordon in effect.
The pencil is iconic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, we were at Delco the movie with Mitch and Mitch. Trippy. This is like the crispy verse madness.
Crispy first. That's right.
So
right.
yeah,
We'll collide.
here we are. We're going back to where we started. Mitch was on the original, and now he's playing movie Mitch's boss.
Still not happy.
And he showed up today, so I am grateful for that.
Okay.
All right, let's see what happens.
Right on. I could try like one-handed gaming would look, but Mr. Herman, you have a phone.
So the trick of it is
The glass is nice. Do a little bit of this. Yeah.
clearly you're a
Well,
child,
then if I'm
child post this kind of photo.
if I'm angled to this too, that'll work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit. There you go.
Always.
Yeah, I'm a former student of his, yeah.
And he's a pastor now.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Yeah, he's a pastor.
So you're not gonna be acting in this film?
I don't know. Maybe
You're-
eventually.
You're gonna be in the weirdest field trip ever.
Fun.